All right, all right, all right. Let's do this. All right, hope I set this up right. Let's fix that. One. Okay, so we know that's working. See if anyone shows up. Please don't tell me I did this wrong. Hey everyone, welcome to the live stream. Hello, hello, hello. Avery Axel edits. Boom, boom, boom. Let's see how this is working. Let's zoom this in a touch. Might be a little too much. Boom. There we go. All right. How is everyone? Hope you're all doing well. Haven't done this in a couple weeks. Beginning of the month, thought I would. How's everyone's summer almost ending? What are we starting August? So yeah, kids are almost going back to school, which sucks for them. Alexandra, thank you very much. Pacers or Trailblazers? Neither. I'm a Clippers fan. Grew up in Los Angeles. But yeah. Coming through clearly. Good, good, good. Harrison, Nevada. Idaho, Ryan. Sweet. I think I settled on some good software for these live streams. It's called Ecamm. It's designed for Apples. And since I switched over to Mac a couple months back, well, about a year now, I've been looking for a better one. And this seems to be working. Kind of like it, no problems. Where's my chat? There it is. I wonder if I can make my chat bigger. Thank you for supporting the channel, by the way, Alexander. Appreciate it. Can I pop these in, though? There we go. Look at that. Watching with William Moore. Well, thank you. Let's see, does that work? Boom. From Chicago. That's how you do it. Okay, I got it now. Apparently, I have to click on your little picture here to pop it up. Guam, huh? I almost called it Goom for some reason. Guam. Briggs just left Seattle. It's a liberal hole. Nice place for the most part. Friendly people. Yeah, they can be. It's hard to get into one of their little circles. I mean, they call it the Seattle Freeze for a reason. But I've never had a problem there with anyone. I mean, even the homeless people were nice to me when I was there last time. Well, actually, every time. I've only had like 3 conversations with the homeless people there. They're always really nice. No problems ever. Let me ask you this. Is my voice syncing up with the video and the audio? Mesa. I have never. Perfect. Thank you. Appreciate it. Just saw a video of just saw a video, not yours, of Bay City, Michigan. Looks nice. Get back to the Midwest. Yes. It's a lot of people don't understand that. Most of the people that move from California to your state are usually just coming back home. Maybe their parents or their grandparents moved to California at one point. People would normally just go back to where their family is and their roots and stuff like that. So a lot of the people moving to places like the Midwest and maybe Idaho are probably coming back. You know, their grandparents went to California to strike it rich, like so many people try and do. Wait until winter. I'm speaking. There you go. Winter, I hardly wait for winter. We only got one like dusting last year. It sucked. I like some good snow. I'm from Southern California, so snow to me is still a treat. But I know if you're from the Midwest, you're all, oh God, the snow. But yeah, it's still a treat to me, and we didn't have any good snow last year. Okay, so as always, there's a lot of things going on in the chat. If I miss your question or anything like that, I apologize. Ask it again. Hopefully, I get to as many as I can. I'm not ignoring anyone. I don't care what you're talking about, as long as it's not kind of some kind of slur or anything like that. I'll answer your questions. Kansas is the most beautiful state. What? Oh, well, they're nice. I don't know if you guys ever watched Kids in the Hall, but it was a great show. And this guy was doing like this video diary thing, and he'd have these flashbacks, and he's all, Daddy used to drink. Right? And that's how he starts it off, right? And it shows his dad with a drink saying something obnoxious. And then he keeps waking up, like he's waking up with his memory and he's in bed. His dad's standing over him. You know what it'd take to kill you? he's all, the will to do it and a quiet pair of shoes. He'd lift up his foot. I'm wearing my moccasins. He's all, Daddy used to drink for the government. That always killed me. Just went through Sturgis many years ago. Many years ago. I'm talking 20 something. Boom. When we moved to Portland, go back to California. Would I please make a video about moving to the Portland metro area? Well, I think I've done several videos on moving to Portland, and Vancouver's really just part of Portland. This is all you need to know. It's just like Portland, but it's more of a suburb with less of the downtown BS, and it's going to be cheaper. That's all you got to know, really. Do I have any information on why there hasn't been a video for on this day? Just ask. Yeah. So everyone's on vacation pretty much right now. Ellie went to Europe, and then Thor's been doing some stuff. So we're kind of half staffed right now, I guess you could say. And like I've always said, that one is something I really love on this day. I love that channel, and I wish it would grow, but it doesn't make the income that I need to make it a big priority. If it did, I'd focus on that. We are a business after all, but that one I do love. I love that channel. So right now we're just understaffed because of vacations and stuff like that. And then I go out of town next week and then at the end of the month. So it's going to be some hiccups, but by the time the school year is really going, we should be okay. New software. How many people we got in the chat? How many people got watching is what I should say. Oh, there it is. 123 people. I do not know how. Hey, Denzel, how are you, buddy? What do you think about Suzuki finally being inducted to the Major Hall? Yeah, he should have been a long time ago. Cooperstown. Yeah, I got to go to Cooperstown one of these days. Always wanted to. It's one of those things. Rochester, Minnesota, seen a lot of growth. Off the top of my head, I wouldn't say they are, but I do know it's one of the best places to move to in the Midwest right now. I mean, especially if you're retired. Now, of course, you got to deal with the cold. Let's get past the cold part, the snow. We know that's going to happen there. Their medical is excellent. Their cost of living is decent. They've got jobs, especially if you work in the medical industry. And they're relatively safe. I mean, especially compared to some of the other options you have in that part of the country, they're definitely safer. So, yeah, I would say they're growing just off the top of my head, but everything's kind of in flux right now in this country, so I'm not totally sure. Well, thank you, Josh A. How long did you take to make your studio room? Well, probably about 2 years, because it was all nasty and stuff like that, and it's little things like that. We had to really clean this bomb shelter thing, so it took a while. Yeah, I love On This Day too. I really wish. I mean, I wish that one would uh make some money and gain the traction that I always thought it would, but it just doesn't. Always bums me out too when I think about it. But I mean, I love history more than I love the maps of the United States and talk about the United States. Probably more than that, I love talking about history. I should have been a history teacher. Kids drive me crazy when I don't have control over them. They get out of hand and I might snap, so I don't need to be around kids. Not snap like, I mean, snap like leave the building. I'm not dealing with this. Charleston. Love Charleston. Hey, look, I got an extra camera on here today. It's not that good, though. Woo! Let's get back to the other one. Lighting on that one's horrible. Oh, I got some sound effects, too. Who wants to hear some sound effects? Those I played. Oh, I have my audio down. All right. What about Pittsburgh? Pittsburgh is a sleeper for places you should move to. Um, So Philadelphia is kind of in the middle of an exodus. People are leaving. Philadelphia is not that great. I think I just said Philadelphia. I meant to say Pennsylvania. Um, Philadelphia is not the greatest. People are leaving Pennsylvania, but Pittsburgh is they're a little above average when it comes to opportunity right now. I mean, they're changing things. Obviously it was a steel town forever, and that basically flatlined. So they had to come up with something, and they've done a pretty good job getting into the tech side of things. So there are jobs in Pittsburgh. They've got some spots, just like every major city, with crime, but for the most part, it's average. Everything's a little bit average. Super chat, Alexander. Thank you again. Super chat. Thank you for supporting the channel as always. Um, what are the best towns in Illinois between 10K and 50K people looking for a small town? That is a good question. So the first one I would tell you is going to be Fort Wayne, but that's obviously too big. Let me get something up here. Fort Wayne, yeah. Fort Wayne's sitting at about 270,000 residents. But there are some great places that are decent. I just don't know them off the top of my head. I was doing some research on it not too long ago. And what was the one I was just looking at? Man. Oh, I can't remember. I can't remember. That is was it? I think it was I'm losing it right now. Roanoke. I think it was Roanoke. I could be wrong. But yeah, that's something I'd have to get more in depth on. But Indiana's got a lot of great options to move there, and I think it's a sleeper. It's one of those ones that's overlooked a lot. I think Missouri is that way too, but Indiana, Missouri are two of the most overlooked states that, they have potential. Missouri's got a little more poverty than I like to see, but Indiana has some amazing small towns. So does Illinois. Get, Chicago and that whole upper part of the state out of the equation, and the rest of the state's pretty good. Idaho, but yeah, Alexander, thanks again for supporting the channel. I appreciate it. But you should see the stats on Fort Wayne. Matter of fact, I'm going to tell you the stats on Fort Wayne. All right, so first of all, the livability score in Fort Wayne is 80. So that's great. Their cost of living is low. Their commute is excellent. Healthcare is great. Housing, excellent. Employment, it's a decent, a little above average. They do have some crime. But again, compared to some of the other places in this country, They're 38% above the national average is nothing. I mean, I think Kansas City is 140%. Memphis is, I think, almost 500% above the national average. So 38% above the national average isn't horrible. So yeah, I'm a firm believer in Fort Wayne's one of the better places when you take all things into consideration: affordability, housing, and I guess safety and healthcare. Schools are decent and things to do. It's a good place to live. Alexander, thanks, Alexander. Thanks for supporting the channel. Tennessee or Texas? I would choose Tennessee, even though next week I have a top 10 or top 15. I think it's 10, 15 reasons not to move to Tennessee. But I mean, I'm making those for every state again. I did them like 4 years ago, so it's time to update those. But yeah, Tennessee, it's not horrible at all, I don't think. Okay, let me make sure I didn't miss any super chats or anything like that. Got to catch up. Here's a good one. Briggs, I moved from upstate New York to Loveland, Colorado. All thanks to you. Oh, well, I am glad it was a good move for you. I've run into I'd say in the last year, I've run into like 10 people in public that have moved someplace because they got the information about it from my video, one of my videos. And so they did more research. I'm going to give you the top down version of everything. Definitely do your own research, like I tell everyone. I'm just here to give you a spark. Maybe this is a good place to move. Maybe it's not a good place to move, that type of thing. Vicky Little. Oh, you Loveland. Oh, there you go. She was talking about that too. Loveland is not bad. Major Denzel is supporting Birmingham. Nice. I gotta go to a minor game around here. Do a Portland, Oregon versus Hartford, Connecticut. What was the city I did? Oh my God. Milwaukee. So I did this video probably about 2 years ago, and I'll show you what a mess Portland is. It's like Milwaukee has half the police department that Portland does. Milwaukee, their police budget, all in, I mean, everything from jails, all that stuff, is like I wouldn't say a quarter, it was like 40% what Portland does. But Portland has 3 times the crime. And it was incredible. It's like Milwaukee's supposed to be a bad town, but no. I mean, it's not great, but still. The one thing I will tell people about Portland all the time, they have this thing called Metro here. If you live in the Portland metro area, Multnomah County, Washington County, where I am, a couple other places, a couple other counties, they all circle Portland. There's this extra level of government. So you have the Portland government, you have the county government, whatever county you're in, and then they have this thing called Metro. Metro, they put in parks and they do some other things like that, but they also charge us. If you make over a certain amount of money, they tax you to house the homeless. It's like I don't know why people voted on that. Hey, Rekka, glad you caught alive. Martinsville, Virginia. I did talk about them on a video not too long ago, and let me see. Don't know it off the top of my head. Martinsville, Virginia. I had a friend years ago. He had family there. I've never been there on a race day. I've driven through there and stopped. But he said on race day, it's like you could hear it all over town. So their cost of living is really good. Their crime, let's see what their crime is. Doesn't look that bad. Their crime is actually 17% lower than the national average. But considering it is a small town in Virginia, that's still above the state average, which it's about 8% above the state average. So, but compared to the rest of the United States, it's not bad at all. They don't have the best employment numbers, so that kind of sucks. and their income per capita is 23% lower than the national average. That is not good. Yeah, don't forget to hit that like button, guys. I was not at Sturgis for the rally. Let me catch up here. Boldbacks, I don't know what that is. Boldback? Bod? I don't even know what that is. Californians are moving to Tulsa, not at the rate you might think they are. Californians are moving to Tulsa from Austin because they figured out it was way cheaper. Yeah, Tulsa's really not growing right now. I know they I know this because one, I look at the stats all the time, but let me see here, just so I'm not talking out of my butt. Yeah, Tulsa is estimated to only grow by 0.4% over the next 5 years. So by the next census, 5 years from now, 0.5% is nothing, especially since, I mean, they normally do okay. But yeah, they're definitely slowing down like so many other places in Oklahoma. Now, the thing about Oklahoma is they they're so freaking cheap. You'd think that everyone would be moving there, and in some cases they are, but they just don't have the jobs. They're trying to get them. Matter of fact, there's a company I used to work for that would I did commercial sponsor videos for, where you can contact them and they'll find companies for you in a city that will actually give you some money to help you move there to, tech workers, stuff like that. Normally, Tulsa had quite a few of them, so they got a future ahead of them. I just don't think they're there right now. Moved to PDX mid '90s. I agree with your take. Um, I think about moving all the time, but I'm going to stay in Oregon. We were thinking about, well, I was thinking about going to Pennsylvania for a while. Family wasn't in on it, but got to stay around my grandkid at this point. So we're going to stay in Oregon, maybe filter over to Washington. Uh, but yeah, I might move down to the coast or up in the mountains. That's about it. I mean, this house right now is huge, and my daughter just moved out again. She came back in for a while. My oldest son lives down in the mountains of California, and my youngest getting ready to go into uh, the Air Force. So our house is way too big for us. So we're going to be moving eventually. Just not sure if we're going to be towards the beach, Washington, or up near Mount Hood. Spokane sounds like a place where you can do, well, can. Imagine that's everywhere. I've never seen that way of getting around the algorithm, though. I've never seen it spelt like that. From Pennsylvania. Nice. Love Pennsylvania. I love rural Pennsylvania. I'm not a big fan of Pittsburgh, Philadelphia, or any of them. Harrisburg, none of them. But I definitely like the country, the small towns, the rural areas. So why do people keep asking this? I don't hate anything. That's insane. Especially a city or a state. How could you hate a location? I point out negative facts about every place. I point out negative. I point out positive facts too, but negative facts. It just happens to be the video. I don't hate anything. I don't even hate any people. So yeah, I don't hate anything. But if someone does have a problem with the stats and the statistics I put out there, talk to your government. Don't be mad at me because I pointed them out. That's, not like you're mad, but you get what I'm saying. Kitty cat. I'm an idiot. And I don't know where Mount Hood is. Mount Hood is about an hour away from me right now. I'm on the west side of downtown Portland, out just where the farmland starts, and it's on the other side, the east side, about an hour, maybe a little more, hour and a half. Well, to get to the base of the mountain, it's probably like 30, 40 minutes for me, but to actually get up there, it's about an hour and something. Bend is a nice place. So, the comparing cities and states and stuff like that, I've always thought that was a great idea. And I've tried it like 2 or 3 different times. Texas versus California, Oklahoma versus Texas. You know, I tried to get states that people are moving to or people are moving from or why they're moving to. There's always some sort of connection. This video's never done good. I don't know. I've always thought about it because I think it's a great idea. It's just maybe I just haven't found the right way to make it yet. Ozarks seem cool. I love the Ozarks. The Lake of the Ozarks. I love that place. That's amazing. They have a they have a bar on the lake called Dick's Halfway Inn. I love that. I need to get some sleep. Alexandra, you have a great night. Get some sleep. I need some sleep myself. I slept like crap last night. I think it was around 4 in the morning and I finally passed out. Roseburg's nice. Been down there a couple times. Yeah, it definitely is. There's some well, I like some of the cities in this country that are split by states. You got Kansas City, Missouri, Kansas City, Kansas, and then well, they're two different cities, but really they're the same metro area, St. Louis, East St. Louis, which I'm sure if you live in St. Louis, you wouldn't mind blowing the bridges between the two of them. Crater Lake, Oregon. There's an interesting story about this guy who was like the first. I don't know what he was, but he ended up being part of the national park system for Crater Lake, and he was grown up in the 1930s or something like that, and it was on the East Coast. I want to say New York or something like that. And his mom wrapped his food in a piece of newspaper while he was eating his lunch, and I guess he was only like seventh or eighth grade. There was a picture of Crater Lake, and wherever he was from, they didn't have mountains like that, and he was just amazed by it. So when he turned like 19 or 20, he moved out there to Crater Lake and just kind of started living there, and eventually became like this tour guide for Crater Lake. It was a really interesting story. I got a super chat. Super chat. Ramblin' CD. I like this software. They popped up a little alert that I got that. Rambler. Are we are Devo. They're playing a concert too. I heard it's the last year they're ever going to tour Devo. Devo. I am going on the 80s cruise in February of next year. I can hardly wait for that. Now, Devo will not be playing, but if you grew up in the 80s and the music, I mean, Bret Michaels is going to be there from Poison, OMD, which if you leave, don't, that one. And then Heaven 17's playing there. Taylor Dane, which I was never a fan. The Sugar Hill Gang's playing that cruise. Sounds like a great time. Super chat, Uncle 27. Super chat. I kind of like Buffalo, New York for some reason as far as visiting major cities. Buffalo, I have family from up there. They were in Buffalo for a long time. Now most of them are up in Rochester. But I've been to Buffalo. Well, first time I went, I was a kid. Um, I was gonna go years ago with a friend for a Buffalo game, Buffalo Bills, and it was like there was a blizzard coming through and all this, and so they didn't know if they were gonna actually play the game or put it off for a couple days, and so we ended up canceling and not going. I've never been to the Pine restaurant or bar, whatever it is. Portland is trying hard to get a Major League Baseball team. We got this thing called the Diamond Project, and they've come up with the renderings for the stadiums that they have ideas for. They had this one like 2 years ago that I thought was amazing. We had this really cool bridge called the Fremont Bridge. So it's kind of iconic to our skyline, and people are they were going to have that bridge was going to be just behind center field. And then they canceled that one. They moved it down the road more. They've got the land all set up for it. They just need the team. Now, for a while there was talk about moving the White Sox to Portland, which I don't dig that. I think teams need to stay where they belong, where they started. But then that got canceled because they got a new stadium deal. And then their local soccer team in Chicago uh, ended up getting the land for a new stadium for soccer. So, yeah, I don't know if they're back in play yet or not, but I would love to see Major League Baseball team out here in Portland. Yes, Ozzy Osbourne and Hulk Hogan both died. Was it the same week? Um, a lot of them are dropping. A lot of people are dropping. Hi, Norma. I love to cruise to Alaska. Um, there's one I got to do. I probably end up going alone because it it um it goes way up there. So it starts in like Seattle and goes all the way up, and then you got to go through the mountains on a train ride to get to Anchorage Airport. And my wife won't dig that because especially since it's going to be pretty rough water, so I'll end up on going on that one alone. But well, thank you very much. All 50 states. I'm uh I'm working on visiting all 50 a second time now. I've got 10 more to go before I no, not that. 8 more to go before I hit all 50 twice. Some of them several times, like Illinois, go to Chicago, probably in the last few years alone. I remember showing my cousin. Oh, let me see if I can get this bigger. I can't look at that. I remember. Can you guys see that thing up, that comment up on the chat? I guess I could look at my phone, and I don't even know where my phone went. I remember shoot. Oh yeah, there you go. Okay, so it doesn't look like it's that big though. I wonder if I shrink it down. Can you see it? Sorry, new software. You know how I get. So you can see me making it bigger. Oh, there we go. Oh, sweet. God, this good software. Ecamm. Cost an arm and a leg. But remember showing my cousin the various colleges year back. Shocked how big the sports stadium. Oh, yeah, Oregon. We like our sports here. You liking the bloopers? I've always had the bloopers. I'm allowed to put these on the end of a video, and I never did. And then one day I was like, I'm gonna do it. Give me a sec, guys. My nose is about to run. It's that season, allergy season. All right, I'm back. I'm back. Can you see? Can I see your comment? See that one? There we go. Here, let's try this one. Guys who started the California wildfires with his mad. Yeah, that makes no sense whatsoever. I'm actually more of a baseball fan than anything. Um, it used to be football, hockey, UFC, baseball. Now I kind of quit watching UFC as much. And I haven't been getting into hockey the last handful of years. I guess since I quit playing hockey, it I lost some interest in it. I have not seen the aurora borealis yet on my cruise, on any of them. What was your 50th state and how long did it take you to hit all 50 the first time? I was in my 30s when I hit all 50. Man, maybe late 30s, almost 40. You know, I was 30. Yeah. And my last one was actually knocked them out in the same road trip, but it was Montana, Wyoming, North Dakota, all in one little trip, and ended up in Minnesota. But those were the last three, actually three. That was the same trip: Montana, Wyoming, and then up to North Dakota. Um, I knocked out three in one road trip. When I was a kid, though, we drove across the United States, so I never really counted those because I'm not sure what states we went through. But when I was in the army and when I was a stand-up comedian, I used to travel all the time, and it's like I was in Georgia and I went to Alabama, Louisiana, and South Carolina, and just down to Florida. Best locations for clam chowder, Rhode Island, I think. It's my favorite state to visit. Well, I like Chicago. So I would say Illinois, but just to enjoy the land, it's going to be any of the New England states or Pennsylvania. Which, in reality, I see a lot of similarities between Pennsylvania and the New England states. I get it, they're not a New England state, but I always kind of clump them together. Yeah, humidity is bad. Did I come across many spiders? No, I got bit in the face when I was younger. Well, when I was in the army by a black widow. That was sucked. Yeah, I had like the world's biggest zit on my face from that thing. Why did I stop doing stand up? Um, I just, I enjoyed the hell out of it, but it was taking up too much of my time for not enough money. And that's what it was. And we moved up to Oregon, and I didn't have as many connections as I used to when I was down in LA doing comedy all the time down there. So it kind of started falling further and further by the wayside. And right about the time I thought I was going back, I kind of discovered YouTube. So that took my creative outlet that direction, and it was definitely more profitable. Well, thank you. Um, I told you I had to reach out to one guy today, tell him, "Look, dude, I know you're using ChatGPT to write your scripts, but you're copying my jokes, or ChatGPT is, and you're publishing it, so you're on the hook if I want to give you strikes." Yeah, I copyright all my jokes. That's the thing. One of the best things I picked up in comedy is copyright all your stuff. What state has the worst bugs? Got to be the South. So you come to Chicago. How about visiting Shawnee Hills? It's about 300 miles south. Never know. I have no plans to go there, but yeah. I've not been to a Cleveland Guardians game. I've not even been to a Cleveland Indians game. Um, I've seen the Dodgers, the Angels, Seattle. I've seen the Texans a few times. Chicago White Sox, Chicago Cubs. These are all their stadiums. I've seen. I don't know who all I saw at like the Dodger Stadium and stuff like that. San Diego. Um, feel like there's one more. Atlanta Braves, saw one of their games many years ago. Um, Never seen a Colorado Rocky game, which for some reason I want to see one there. And I've never seen a Yankee or Mets game. I was at the Met State, well, outside the Met Stadium when they were playing a game one time. Um, haven't seen any of the Florida teams ever. Louisiana, yeah, Louisiana, they got some pretty nasty bugs. Have a good day. Have I seen one of my jokes pop up as maybe? Well, yeah, I did, but they quoted me on it. So there was a meme going around a while ago, which I started making T-shirts for, which said, "This place sucks." Really, Briggs told me. No, really, this place sucks. Briggs told me. I thought that was pretty funny, and they showed a picture of like Chicago, I think it was. I have driven parts of Route 66 or Route 66. Texans, yep. Oh, what are my thoughts on Amtrak trips versus car? I love Amtrak. I love Amtrak. I'm going down to LA next week and I wanted to take the Amtrak, which I love taking that trip. And for some reason they got some construction going on north of Los Angeles. So they're letting me book it and I'm starting looking, I'm all, why does it say 3 segments? Well, they take me down to like, I don't know, Sacramento. Then they put me on a bus. And then they take me down the five for like 6 hours or something weird like that, and then drop me off at the San Joaquin train station, and then I take that into LA. I was like, I'm not getting on a bus. Yeah, kids are getting away from sports. It's too bad. I ran track, wrestled, football. Didn't play baseball. Not joined a live session on YouTube in a while. A lot of changes. Comments show up on screen. Yeah, that's. I could pick and choose which ones go up on screen. And like I tell people all the time, so if you're hearing this again, sorry, but you guys don't see the ones that are being blocked because I have some things on there where there's all kinds of racial slurs that pop up, and those words get blocked right away. And if one slips by or they use some weird way of spelling it, then I just block them entirely. So yeah, when you guys see the chat going, I promise you, there's like a third more comments, and they're just from trolls. As someone who's never been to the United, let's make this wider so I can read. Someone who's never been to the United States of America. I'm from Ireland. I greatly enjoy hearing all small towns. Probably never visit. Yeah, that's probably what I would do too. I just love hearing about small towns. I mean, if people are doing videos on Irish small towns, I'll be watching those. I have not discovered any new music lately. Oh, no, actually, no. I've started getting into some older music. um, Classic rock and stuff, which I was never into it when I was a kid. And just recently, I started listening to like Kansas. And a few years ago, I rediscovered Led Zeppelin. So this classic rock thing I've been on for about 5 years. That's pretty much it. And other than that, I mean, I grew up listening to punk rock, and I had to quit listening to it because I realized it made me an angry person, literally. So I quit listening to that stuff and started listening to more mellow stuff. So I kind of got into this whole newer folk stuff like Gregory Alan Isaacoff, Bon Iver, which he's kind of that, and then some other ones. But I really enjoy that music. I like slower stuff nowadays. Doesn't get my dander up. What's the state with the best food? See, that's subjective. It could be any one of them. My personal opinion, it's going to be California with all the tacos. I love tacos. But then again, I also love pizza. and Chicago's got some excellent pizza. So yeah, you're welcome. I have been to Cleveland, never been to Akron. Eagles, Linda Ronstadt. I love her. When I was a kid, I thought Linda Ronstadt was the most. I thought she was a goddess. She just was so attractive. I'm talking when I was like 10. I was like, oh my God, look at her. I watched that thing on the Eagles. It was a documentary. I think it was on Netflix. Very interesting. I watched this YouTube documentary on the band Kansas the other day. That was really interesting. I think the best one I've seen about classic rock in recent years, though, is the one on Chicago. Most people don't realize Chicago was actually a rock band before the 80s rolled around and they started doing all that pop and, Karate Kid types soundtrack music. They were a real legit rock band. And then their lead singer accidentally shot himself in the head at a party, and that kind of killed the direction the band was on. And so they started writing pop stuff, and kind of some people liked it. I just hated it. Yep, we already discussed that. Just talked about it a little while ago. Kind of him and Hulk Hogan same week. Join the stream. Well, I'm glad you're here too. So, is there any series that we've done for all you longtime viewers? Any series that we've done in the past that you think we should redo? Because I want to start doing those top 10 reasons not to move someplace, maybe top 10, not top 15 reasons now, and then just basically updating the stats of the negativity and if anything's gotten better, which some states in the 7 years since I've been doing that, they've turned some things around. Dust in the wind. So that's if you guys ever get a chance, you don't have to be a Kansas fan, but see a live version of Dust in the Wind. And that's or no, Carry On My Wayward Son. That's what I'm talking about. Their lead singer at the time, that guy plays the piano, sings, switches back and forth, and then goes over and plays the bongos for a while. This guy was on fire. And that when he left, they kind of, it wasn't going the direction he wanted. So he kind of left the band, and it kind of ruined him. In this documentary I saw, the guys from Kansas said, "Yeah, we didn't realize how good of a singer he was. We thought we could just get another one. Didn't work out that way for him." 15 reasons not to move. You know what? Oddly enough, I will do it because if I start doing that series, it won't be all back to back. Those things, one every week or every other week. But Hawaii did the worst out of all those. I think maybe like Kansas or Nebraska did worse, but I was shocked. I thought people would love to hear about Hawaii on that one. Kind of blew me away. Top 10 reasons not to move to small towns. That could be pretty good. I did the abandoned amusement park one. Nobody watches it. I was so bummed because I love a good roller coaster and amusement park history, and that always interests me. No one dug it. Kind of bummed me out, but yeah. Abandoned Place is always a good one. Single Retirees just did that one. That one did pretty good. Best state for Chinese food. Ooh, that's a pretty good one. Probably New York City. I forget which one it was. I was watching this video on the history of San Francisco, and I think it could be wrong, but I think it was chop suey. Chop suey is not a Chinese dish. If it's the one I'm thinking about, I don't think it's chow mein. Maybe it was chop suey. So people would order this chop suey. Basically, it was what the cooks had left over from the day, and so they would give it to the drunk people, and they called it chop suey. And it comes from a phrase that means for barbarians. So the white barbarians, basically, they're making fun of the people and selling them this stuff. I could be, I could be wrong about the translation, but it was something very similar to that. I think it was chop suey. Best states for barbecue. That's one of my favorite subjects in the whole world. Is moving to Arizona not cool anymore? I do things about Arizona. Uh, I mean, we just talked about Prescott and a couple other places just recently. Usually they're lumped in with, we haven't been doing any specific states really that much. And reason we've kind of been, different, what state's best for this. But I've done some things on Arizona. Arizona is kind of losing its appeal. You just like every place. I mean, California was popular, 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 and then it kind of lost its appeal. Texas, I think they're getting there. Arizona, not like people aren't moving there. I'm not saying that at all. That or Texas, people are still moving there and they're still growing, but it's just their growth used to be like this. Now it's a little bit like this, or their popularity, I should say. Ooh, that's a good question. I don't know off the top of my head. I'm sorry you hit a commercial. I don't plan those. Is Cleveland, Ohio really that bad? They got some spots. They're trying to do a little regrowth thing, and probably about 4 years ago, things started looking a little bit better, and then kind of stalled. But I think Cleveland is ready for a rebound. I mean, it's so dirt cheap. People eventually, what happens is places get so cheap, everyone starts moving there, and then people move in and the prices go up. And then everyone starts leaving 10, 15 years down the line. But with the whole remote worker thing in the coming years, next decade, I think a lot of cities that were left behind because they don't have any jobs, especially the Rust Belt cities, they're going to start seeing a little growth again because I mean, if you could work from anywhere, why not move someplace where it's dirt cheap? I mean, I'd move to West Virginia if I, worked remotely and I was single. My family would never go for it, but because you could buy a decent house there for $250,000 and probably get a couple acres with it and a river view or something like that. What about Nevada? I just did a video on Nevada. I always need that revenue. I think everyone needs revenue, right? Anyone else here just a volunteer? Never really worked for money? So one lady gave me a hard time. She said, "How come you don't do movies about this?" And I was like, "Well, nobody really watches those, and I like to make sure I get enough views, and I got people to pay." So, oh, so it's all about the money? I think everything's all about the money. If I was going to do something not for money, just sit around, I'd probably play video games, read, and eat chocolate covered strawberries all day. But we all got to work, and I think it's hard for people to get that this is work for me. I mean, I enjoy the live streams and stuff like that. But when I'm making videos, that's actually work. I sit there and I pound out scripts. I do research. I got Ellie researching me. I got to run a business too. Got to make sure things are paid. So, which has gotten so much easier since the invention of auto pay. That's why I've done sponsors. This is not a sponsored thing, but Rocket Money, they gave me a free subscription because I did a sponsored video. They send me alerts to remind me that I have these subscriptions, or they tell me I have duplicate prescriptions. Um, so yeah, I love that. Thoughts on Drew Barrymore? I don't think I've ever thought about Drew Barrymore. I mean, other than being an ET or whatever. Well, thank you very much. Well, thank you. Yeah, this one is this is the best job I've ever had. I mean, the pay is good. And I mean, I've had some really crappy jobs. I was in the military. People shot at me for a while. That sucked. But this, nobody shoots at me. and I don't have to sleep in the dirt. So that's really good. Thank you. Um, but yeah, I've had some pretty lame jobs in my life. I This one guy, he's a live streamer. That's all he does. Some 20-year-old kid, and he's all, "This is the hardest job in the world. This is incredibly hard." And he's going on, and I wanted to reach through the camera and slap the crap out of him. You have no idea what a hard job is. Go work fast food for a month, then come back and cry. Please, please talk about the climate in your videos. I do occasionally. I bring it up. It's usually a thing that pushes people's buttons, but I mean, climate change is a it shouldn't be, because climate is changing. It's changed many times before. The ice age and all that stuff. That's we know climate change has happened. It's like John Oliver said, denying climate change is happening is like denying owls are real. Now, are humans affecting it? That's what's up for debate, in my opinion. Have your own opinion. Well, thank you. Thank you. Captain Jerry Donnelly, thanks for becoming a member. I appreciate that. Best train trips. I can tell you that right off the bat. Best train trip you will take is fly into Denver, take it from Denver, take the train through the Rockies to like Sacramento, fly home. One of the best train trips you'll ever take. Get a room. Be nice, baldy. I'm not bald. I actually have a full head of hair. I just shaved my head. Difference. And I am painfully gray. That started when I was like 25, so. People who don't believe, so it causes some issues. That's about it. Yeah. Mountain Home, Idaho. Mountain Home. Curbita, Brazil. Best states for overall quality of life. I think it's going to be Maine or Vermont. And that's just because low crime, decent health care, environmental, as far as good air quality, good water quality, access to nature. That's where they usually win. Believe it or not, Washington has a really high livability score too. How long have I been on YouTube? I started this channel in 2016. I started being serious about this around mid 2017. And by middle of 2018, I quit my job. Hey, Captain Jerry Donnelly, thanks for a super chat. Thanks for supporting the channel. Army Medical Platoon Leader, Infantry, 1990. Oh yeah, you're a little bit younger than me. I went in 85 and did the Army for a while, and then got out and did some National Guard. So I was a trigger puller, 11B. Yeah, weather is a huge deal. I mean, for everyone. Chiggers, yeah. Maybe, yeah, I didn't know about chiggers till I got in the Army. If you don't know what chiggers are, they're like these mites that burrow into your skin, normally around where you sweat, like your armpits, your ankles, where your socks come. They're a pain. I hate them. Haven't had them in decades, but still. I do not do moving consulting. I did for a while, so I put it up there that I was going to help people. I had a service going. I was overwhelmed with the amount of people I had that asked me for this help, to where I kind of said, okay, that's enough. I think I had to email everyone and said, "Hey, it might take me 2 months to get to you." And some people are all, "Never mind then," and I was like, "Fine." But yeah, I've looked up stats and stuff like that for people and given them suggestions and gotten them in touch with a real estate agent and things like that. But yeah, it was just way too much. I got too much going on. Couldn't do it. 11 bang bang. Love Portland. I love Portland too. I mean, I always wish I'd get better. One thing I was a little blown away about the homeless situation, not like Oregon ever agrees with anything, especially Portland, that Donald Trump has to say, but he's said he's going to do these different things about getting homeless people off the streets and into hospitals or stuff like that. I don't know the ins and outs of it. I mean, on the surface, it always sounds good, but the Portland mayor's all, yeah, if that comes down the pipe, we'll do it. I was like, oh, okay. But yeah, I mean, we have to do something. What we've been doing for the last 5, 10 years is nuts. Yeah, Nick does. At least he used to. I don't know if he still does. I remember he was the one that kind of gave me the suggestion to do it. I wonder if he's going to VidCon or Vid Summit this year. Call him. Yeah, we'll be hitting some more New England states pretty soon, Irene. Uh, Maine and New Hampshire, Vermont, please. Yes, absolutely. Three of my favorite states. I think New Hampshire and Vermont should just erase the border and become one. They're too similar. Washington, Seattle, and Vancouver, Canada, about the same. Yeah, it's not my hometown now, but I mean, I didn't start off here, start off in Southern California, but it's been my hometown here for 16 years now. Uh, yeah, and it was a lot better when I first started visiting, especially in the 90s. And when I moved up here in the 2000, early 2010s, 2009, it's changed so much. It kind of bumps me out, but it's not as bad as they make it look on television. All right. I'm going to wind this down because we've been going at it for an hour now. That's what I like to do because then I start getting punchy if I'm on here too long. We've got some good videos coming up next week. I appreciate all of you hanging out here and watching today's video. Want to make sure I didn't miss anything. Let me scroll back through here and make sure we got all the super chats, which really do help the channel. I really appreciate it when you guys do that. Now that I got this new software and I like it, next weekend I won't be here. So no, won't be next weekend, probably the following weekend. I will do another one of these. All right, guys, I appreciate you hanging out with me. Now let me see if I can figure out how to stop this live stream on this one. You guys have a great day. Be nice to each other. Where do I stop it from? Finish. There we go. End.